Welcome to Managing Travel Behavior, Regulations, Pricing, and Programs. My name's Rick Wilson, and I'm pleased to introduce this Planetizen course to you. In terms of my background, I'm a professor in the Department of Urban and Regional Planning at Cal Poly Pomona. I also have a transportation planning consultancy, and I was involved early in my career with travel demand management measures when I worked at the Los Angeles Community Redevelopment Agency. First, let's introduce the appeal of travel demand management. And it has a number of dimensions that it's a particularly valuable tool in our transportation planning approaches. For congestion, travel demand management can moderate peak travel demand by changing the travel mode that people use, the time of travel, their choice of trip and trip consolidation, and choice of route. So TDM is a key tool in addressing traffic congestion. But travel demand management is broader than that. It affects sustainability, livability, public health, and equity, both by affecting how much impact the transportation system has on the environment, and also by providing trips for people who may not drive. So for example, a TDM approach includes carpooling programs that would help central city residents match up with other residents to access suburban jobs. And of course, TDM can support our generalized plans for increasing transit by increasing ridership. I like to look at the ways of effectuating change in four dimensions. We can effectuate change through capital projects, and that's the direct monetary, box number 1. We can affect change by incentivizing or disincentivizing behavior, and that's the indirect monetary box, box number 2. Example of that would be road pricing. We can affect change through regulations such as the direct monetary box, box number 3. We can have rules about when you can drive your car or mandates for TDM programs. And finally, we can affect behavior through indirect non-monetary strategies such as marketing or information or apps that provide you with good choices in terms of travel. So the course contents will be to discuss the logic of demand modification and then deal with 3 elements: programs, including information and marketing, pricing, and regulations. We'll conclude our discussion by talking about how TDM can enable a capacity as last resort approach to transportation planning. So why do we need this course? Pricing is transforming the approach we take to transportation demand management. In the classic approach to TDM in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, it was primarily employer-mandated rideshare programs which tried to encourage people to use alternative modes. The effectiveness of incentives was limited by underpriced driving and excess parking. The emerging approach for TDM is TDM for a broader set of economic reasons, such as avoiding parking costs or employee retention. And it involves using pricing road use, pricing parking, in the case of goods movement, pricing the time of day trucks access a port, for example. And also it seeks to reform counterproductive mandates such as minimum parking requirements. Finally, current approaches are taking advantage of technology available in planning, payment, and pricing systems. So let's begin.